Honestly, I'm not even sure where the hell to begin. I guess we can start with disc golf will never be the same. Muy disgenerates, it's the disc golf world. We're at the beast. I'm Jefferson. Alongside me, as always, it's the one with all the holes in his game, Swiss cheese.
We got a lot to unpack, and we're not just talking about the luggage. So if you haven't already, go check all the recaps to get caught up.
We're here to break down everything you need to know from the 2025 Disc Golf World Championships. We have a full playlist of the previous day's recaps if you need to get caught up before we jump straight into the final round. But before we can do all that, let's talk about what was hands down the greatest World Championships of all time. Just look at the crowds if you don't believe me. It's not uncommon for disc golfers to debate whether the sport should favor better courses or the spectator experience. And this event proved there could be both. Not only that, but exposed really how far behind the sport is in terms of advertising. If you're a subscriber, which now is the time to change that if you aren't, either way, you've probably heard us make a joke about a company paying for essentially garage sale level marketing. This might be the first event I've attended that adequately displayed sponsors. Every hole had a matching pop-up tent, rail banner, and of course the yard signs that are so beloved. I think this is a huge step in the right direction that could have potential outside sponsors more willing to give disc golf a chance. This tournament did a great job at that. The biggest being Hairbro, who was actually handing out candy on site, or possibly the Ford cars showcased on the course. Or maybe the signs that line the hay bales on hole 16, clear for people to read and super visible in case, I don't know, the tournament is decided right there, ready to be clipped everywhere. However, the event being touted as the best ever and the big sponsors made some question why the prize pool saw a dip, missing $100,000 added cash from the previous season, resulting in a loss of 10 grand for the winner. Drew Gibson made a YouTube video first sharing the information, but that's been going under the radar. I know some people want to discredit Drew's opinion because they think he's annoying, but the topic concerned other players as well.
Maybe the most professional feeling. It might have the biggest crowds, but I think the payout's a big deal, and I think that you can't call yourself the biggest, best worlds ever if you're 100,000 short of the last 2 years.
Now that the tournament is over, Drew has released a video claiming he was wrong, but you can watch that for yourself. Then you can let me know what exactly he was wrong about, unless he means that it's okay the payouts went down because of how professional the event was run, which feels like the popular consensus. That being said, this still should have been formally addressed. All it takes is someone who doesn't like the PDGA to go full rage monster, making accusations where the money went on a podcast, and this could spark a bigger controversy. Guess we'll see Tuesday night. Feels really weird to allow for speculation. Some rando could be like, how can you afford Darude to play Sandstorm for an after party, but not 10 more G's for the athletes? Those pots should be separated, but see what happens when assumptions can be made. They make an ass out of you and me. Good thing I don't have to do that. This being the 5th World Championships I've been at, I can confidently say it's kilometers above anything I've ever witnessed. Don't just take my word for it. We wanted to know how the professionals truly felt, so we asked them.
I think it's the best worlds that I've ever been to, for sure.
From a pro-only standpoint, yes.
This blew the next best out of the water.
There's no question about it.
It feels like the World Championships. I would argue that it is probably the best one that we've ever had.
The overwhelming majority agreed this was the best event our sport has ever seen. All this couldn't have been done without the help from both cities. Being here to experience the disc golf culture, you can tell how much it means to throw an event this big. Having a legit opening ceremony that the mayor spoke at. This is the type of stuff you don't see in the States and why everyone comes back saying they treat disc golf like an actual sport. The broadcast was live on Finnish TV and averaged around 300,000 concurrent viewers with a peak at 600,000. Absolute insanity. The emphasis on media was next level as well. Having an area specifically for player interactions after the round, designated areas to be close to the action, and over 100 different media outlets. Who knew that many people even covered disc golf? Back to the tournament though, and making money. Can't forget about all the VIP opportunities that surely brought in some cash. People were seriously crazy enough to spend 15 grand just to chill in a greenhouse sauna. Although I heard the meals were banging, and they did get to hang out with the champs immediately after their putts on 18, so maybe it was worth it. Another big factor that made this Worlds feel much more grand was the representation from other countries. This year, the PDGA invited the top-rated players from every country that plays, and they made sure to show up. We had the chance to catch up with Paul Macbeth, who expressed his feelings on the matter.
I like that fact that there were so many countries represented. You see all the different flags, and I think it's big. You kind of look at the Olympics like that. Like, not everyone that goes to the Olympics is there to win, but they're there to represent their country, and that means something. To show and see your flag there, someone from your country represented, because everyone wants to do better. I know, for example, like Larry Markkinen for basketball. His goal was always to, there was one previous Finnish basketball player, and in the back of his mind, he always wanted to do better than what the previous best Finn did. And now, you're seeing more Finns playing basketball and becoming great, and you see their national team doing great. So I think it's just going to be that kind of snowball effect in disc golf as well.
That was the entire thought process by the PDGA behind making this move. Often they get clowned on for basically any decision they make, but this is one of the best they made in recent memory. That and not penalizing card mates for scoring mistakes. The PDGA's job as an organization is to grow disc golf into a global sport, and no better way to do that than to have as much representation as possible. 45 different countries is something us as disc golfers should be proud of. And anyone who doesn't celebrate that doesn't embody the principle our sport was founded on. What are the haters gonna do now that I was positive? Drop a subscribe. That's what you all should be doing. I mean, come on. Who else was dumb enough to leave their loved ones for Finland to recap every round of Worlds? I just feel like that deserves a like and subscribe, but maybe that's the lack of sleep talking. Now, Swiss, break down the FPO for these fine people.
It's been one interesting World Championship week for the FPO, with plenty of lowlights mixed in. There was brutal hole 16 blowups, a huge DNF announcement, even some bullseye missed putts, and what I'm sure to be a never-ending meme for the sport that's still holding on to O. Richard and Casey Pro Rocks. And sure, it certainly got bizarre there at the end, but the action delivered enough for it to cause Ricky Wysocki to be late for his own tee time. So one of the most deserving pros set history, and you guys already know that it was Owen who won, so let's just get to the recap already. Most of you in the States were probably asleep, but here in Finland, the stage was set with record Championship Sunday crowds, even more of them watching at home in Finland, surprisingly another trumpet performance, and what felt like an entire nation behind the three Finns on the lead card. That was until Ella Hansen crashed the party like Wild Runs did at the UC after party. Ella would insert herself into the picture all the way from chase card. She began 12 strokes back at +3 over, only to have not only a course record-setting pace, but also pushing for another record, the highest FPO rated round ever. Ella joined the 15-year-old darling future superstar Ida Lehtomäki, a defending world champion in Evelina Salonen that really didn't show up, and the talented prospect now turned underdog Henna Blomroos. And then there was Owen Scoggins, the lone American, one of the game's fan favorites and elder teammate of the All-Innova lead card, fostering the best vibes for a powder keg of pressure and emotional moments for much of the 5 days. The leaderboard shifted from the start after Ida would lose her lead and strokes to the entire card and Ella after a 3-putt on 1 for a bogey, but would respond the very next hole with a birdie to regain her lead. But after hole 3 would go on a par train to finish the front 9 only 1 under, allowing Henna to move into the lead in that span with a bogey-free 4 under front 9. Though Owen was downing C2 putts like post-round beers, hitting 5 on the front half alone, was still only able to keep things close in that span. Ella came out hotter than most pros' Airbnbs, going 7 under on the front 9. Didn't slow from there, adding 3 more birdies and an eagle on 15, one of only 3 to do so over the 3 days at the Beast. Ida's back half couldn't start any worse with 3 straight bogeys. It ended up having her drop further down and tied with Owen. But both would still be looking up at Henna, whose putt still hadn't improved, only going 25% from C1X on the round, and missing 4 of those 6 missed putts on the back half, including the most costly one on 17. Both Ida and Owen would take advantage, cutting the lead with birdies on 15 and 16. Ida would take a solo lead after Henna's miss on 17. Ella at that time was on the putting green, staring down at a birdie look from 18 with the cameras and crowd watching intently. Would miss her 19-foot birdie look, knocking her from competing for the win. but can take solace in the fact that it was her best round of her career and a podium finish at Worlds. Now left was Ida with the pressure of the hometown crowds trying to become the youngest ever to win a Worlds. And Own, 30 years her elder, trying to chase her down to become the oldest ever to win a major. Ida hits a tree. Own confidently cruises to a birdie with a drop-in putt after her approach, resulting in the first ever FPO playoff at the Worlds. It immediately kicked off with Own going OB. As most expected Ida to play it safe, remaining in bounds to a celebration with her nation, only to go OB on her approach shot, missing in the only place she couldn't afford to, which was 50 feet short. The discussion between her father, Caddy, began. And that wasn't expected by the crowd or anyone who pays attention to the game to lay up there. That's exactly what she did. Gave Own the game's best putter, mind you. Simple C1X putt from there, win a world championship. She, of course, buries and celebrates in fashion. To justify the move, most expected that the caddy, her dad, misread strokes or thought to play it safe in that moment for what would lead to another playoff. Further speculation on the grounds was the PDGA Live was also incorrect for a brief moment. Could have contributed to the possible miscalculation, if there even was one. Since, Ida has made a post saying she did not feel comfortable with her putt at that point. It was also probably the best thing to say publicly after that rumored miscalculation. Either way, it gave Own the victory, emotions, tears, and another Jen Allen celebration. Own the second time this year for another world championship, something our sport is unlikely to see ever repeated again. Send off to the Beast was spectacular, made only better with another first timer getting a championship over in the MPO. So let's kick it back to Jefferson so he can tell you all about it.
Over on the MPO side, Sullivan Tipton blasted a 12 under at the Beast that would be forgotten quicker than Lynchburg's Worlds after an Ezra Aderhold historic 14 under course record at the Monster. He followed it up by shooting 10 strokes worse and now only leading by 1 heading into round 4. Gannon Burr matched his first round score of 10 under, only needing to birdie the last 7 holes to make it happen. Anthony DeBarello would be 2 strokes back after a blazing 15 under that included a bogey. Rated higher than Ezra's day 2, but don't you dare call it better. The lead card was set for Championship Sunday, and a winner will be crowned after the last 18 holes of this beast layout that will ever be played. Construction of the new swimming hole legitimately already started, but don't worry, I already know what you're thinking. Swiss and I did get around it. No way we're missing out on that. Back to the action. Gannon hung his drive out on hole 1, hitting an early tree, opening the door. Only Sully capitalized. Burr then birdied the next 2 holes, but Tipton was right there keeping pace. Barella with the bogey looked to be out of it before it really got started. Bounced back with a birdie, taking a needed stroke on the leader, but Sully would get his 4th in a row, making ground quick. After the front 9, scores would be extremely close. AB found trouble in the beginning, but got hot on an 8-hole birdie stretch, keeping the dream alive. Sully was 6th under with 2 missed circle 1 putts, but still on the best pace of the group. Doesn't help much when that's only 1 better than Gannon, and he's not typically one to slow down. Hole 10 would begin the downfall. Tipton threw his approach out of bounds, resulting in his first bogey of the round, and it only got worse with a double on the very next hole. That would be the end of Sully's World Championship run. Eyes then shifted onto the chase card with Aaron Gossage and Nicholas Ansela, who were on fire making pushes of their own. They would be 6 and 7 under through the front and showed no signs of letting up, drilling every putt in sight and hitting each gap no matter how tight. The hometown legend birdied 8 holes in a row until an unfortunate bogey on hole 15 and another mistake on 18 would mark his end for the title. Gossage, on the other hand, kept pushing. His only mistake was going out of bounds on hole 17. That final round, Goose was 14 for 15 inside the circle and 3 for 3 outside. I don't know what about second places at Worlds he likes so much, but he can have another one. Knowing 42 under was the score to beat, all Gannon had to do was play clean. Easier said than done with 16 staring you down. Stuck the island like a champ, walking away with an easy birdie. Should all be downhill from here is probably what he was thinking, but then he would throw OB on 17 and bogey. Needing a par on hole 18, he played his first 2 shots safe, then took what the keyboard warriors at home are calling way too long on his approach. I just think he was looking out for his caddy since he was banned for the infamous stare. Plus, no way any competitor calls a time violation. One, because that's how you ruin your reputation. And second, because he has no warnings and it wouldn't even be a stroke penalty, you idiots. Unless he got one during the round and I didn't know because I was spectating in person. If so, suck it. I was this close to the final putt and I don't care about your bitterness to Gannon Burr. He's the future of the sport. Notice how I didn't use the word GOAT? Terry would be proud of me. To top off all the professionalism of the event, the award ceremony is exactly what we want. Champagne. No, but for real, this moment was surreal to be a part of. Yes, because I was close to the final putt, but I was talking about the amount of media. Never before has disc golf been displayed on a stage this big, and I'm counting the one in Estonia. 10 plus countries had their news outlets capturing the moments, ready to go back to the 20 disc golfers back home to huddle around a laptop and watch the shaky cam footage. It's crazy how far our sport has come, yet we're still so small. I'm beyond thankful for the opportunity to cover this event. I'm proud of what we were able to accomplish this past week, and I think we showed we're more than the clickbait tabloid bullshit we often get labeled as. Most people don't know we had a vision 6 years ago in Peoria for the 2019 World Championships, the first event we had ever attended, my graduation gift from my uncle. That weekend, we made horrible recaps every round, but each day they got better, and most important, it started a passion. This was our second World Championship recaps, but the first time we've done it in Finland. Shout out to all you disgenerants for making it a reality. It's over, and it still doesn't even feel real. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed the coverage, because that's going to wrap up everything you need to know from the 2025 Disc Golf World Championships. Thank you guys so much for watching. We have a couple more videos that will be posted this week about Worlds that you're not going to want to miss. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's the easiest and cheapest way to support the disc golf world.